crabgrass. See it right here? Crabgrass is dying off. The goosegrass right there, it's still nice and healthy. So I'm driving by the fence, and all morning she's been sitting here looking at me. She wants to be a farm dog, and she has to go for a ride. So, you happy now? Big fat Jack Russell, sit down. Sit down so you don't fall out. These are the spray bottles I was talking about that were out of stock. But when they come in, they have this annoying little safety tab that you gotta push that thing over. So the first thing I do, I go in here and I cut off that safety. I've used this, you guys have seen me use this in the past. I take my wetting agent and put about a quarter. So the girls showed up. Christy's back up here. She drug a friend up and she didn't realize when I said I had a lot of tomatoes how many I had. All right, that's got to be what, 10, 15 pounds each one of these. And then that one's got to be probably 20, 25 pounds. You got squash. These 3 buckets are all rotten tomatoes. All rotten tomatoes. And then you got zucchinis, you got squash. Ooh. Hey guys, so there's a lot going on in today's video. Between the lawn, spraying the lawn, cutting the lawn, some of the girls came over to harvest a huge amount of vegetables. I mean like 150 pounds of tomatoes. But today I spent a lot of time talking about mycorrhizal fungi and its relationship and why I use it a lot. I mix it in with super juice, dirt booster plus, that is the plus in the dirt booster, which is the mycorrhizal fungi and the bacteria. And so you hear me talk about that a lot. So I figured I better explain that. And what I'm going to do is I found a little educational video, which actually is pretty good. So what I'm going to do, I think it's just a couple minutes long. In a minute here, I'm going to pop it in. I'm going to cut in. We're going to go to that video that I found. I'm going to go ahead and put that up so you can learn about it. But today, okay, so I have super juice left over. I'm going to mix in some wetting agent. I'm going to mix in some mycorrhizal fungi and microbes. I'm going to mix in some additional. I'm going to spray it on there. I'm going to spray it on the back. I'm going to cut the front. I go up to the garden. I'm going to spray the garden with it. The girls come over. We harvest a huge amount of produce. I drive around. Fat Dog joins me. We have to go on and do a farm check. There's a bunch going on. So, I mean, it looks like we might actually get a thunderstorm this afternoon. If there's nothing on Netflix, enjoy it. If not, something else is on. Here we go.
Mycorrhizal fungi have great potential to assist agriculture. These fungi have been plant allies for well over 400 million years. Today, over 90% of land plants work alongside mycorrhizal fungi. Mycorrhizal fungi must colonize a living plant root in order to survive. Here, you can see the plant root is drawn in black, and the fungus is drawn in red. Mycorrhizal fungi are essentially an extension of the plant root system. When mycorrhizal fungi colonize plant roots, they form a beneficial relationship with their plant host. This beneficial relationship is called mycorrhizal symbiosis. The symbiosis is based on the exchange of resources. The plant gives the fungi anywhere from 10 to 40% of its sugars that it made via photosynthesis. In return, the fungi can provide the plant with up to 90% of its nutrient requirements. The thin, exploratory hyphae of the fungi can scavenge for macro and micronutrients that would otherwise be inaccessible to the plants, such as phosphorus, nitrogen, sulfur, copper, iron, and zinc. Here is a zoomed-in image of a plant root. On the left side, there is no mycorrhizal colonization, whereas there is colonization on the right side. You can see from this image that on the right side, the fungi provide protection to the plant root. The fungi act as a barrier to other soil antagonists, and they exponentially increase the surface area whereby the plant root acquires nutrients and water. There are two primary types of mycorrhizal fungi, ecto and endomycorrhizal fungi. Ectomycorrhizal fungi do not penetrate into the plant root cell. Plants that associate with these fungi include conifers and select hardwoods. Endomycorrhizal fungi do penetrate into the plant root cells. Most agricultural crops associate with endomycorrhizal fungi. The most common type of endomycorrhizal fungi is arbuscular mycorrhizal fungi, or AMF. AMF are the most agronomically relevant type of fungi. The name arbuscular is derived from the characteristic structures of AMF, the arbuscules. An arbuscule is a highly branched organ made by AMF inside plant root cells. It is the site of sugar and nutrient exchange between the plant and the fungi.
So what are we doing today, Doc? We have been really, really dry, and we're going to be really dry. Now we've gone from wet over to dry. So last night I had thunderstorms all around me. Everyone else got rain. I think we got maybe 1/10 of an inch. I'm getting ready to go check my rain gauge. But hey, I'll take anything right now. Especially when we're babysitting this brand new Bermuda lawn that we just installed. You know, I'll take all the rain I can get probably at this point. So today, I'm just going to drag it to Saturday. No one's coming over, no one's working, no one's helping me. So I'm just going to, again, I'm going to drag the camera around and just sort of shoot what I'm doing. I have a ton of red tomatoes up in the garden, and I just don't have a lot of time up there right now. The Good Witch is helping out with a family member that has surgery, so the garden's a little neglected. So Christy, my buddy that came over last time, I think she's coming at least, and hopefully she'll bring some more friends, maybe about 10 or so, and then they're going to go up in the garden and get some tomatoes and green peppers and squash and whatever. The Bermuda, 3 different stages or 4 different stages of germination. That's going well. Crabgrass sprayed. Crabgrass is dying off. Unfortunately, I have goosegrass in here, so I have to do a second treatment for the goosegrass. You can see this is the crabgrass right here. Now the crabgrass is dying off, and the Bermuda is safe. That's good. Again, crabgrass, see it right here. Crabgrass is dying off. The goosegrass right there, it's still nice and healthy. So now I got to come through here and do a different treatment for the goosegrass. Now we did come through here yesterday and I ate up 2 chainsaw blades. I had a couple of roots that were out here. Someone made a comment, said, "Why are you not using a reel mower out there?" I'm like, dude, you bring your reel mower over here, go ahead, but I ain't paying for your reel because it's full of rocks. We still have to do with it. I mean, we still have to do cleanup out here. We got sticks, we got rocks, we got roots. This will probably never be a reel mower cut. This will always be, you know, a John Deere, a riding mower, 0 turn, or just a hand cut with the Ego. But it'll look nice. And I do want to come out here and spray it. I did have, yesterday I talked about the mycorrhizal fungi spray. I mixed up some super juice and the spray bottles weren't in stock. I got my 20-to-1 ratio spray bottles in. That's what you want. That provides a nice healthy dose of whatever you're putting out. So I saved that super juice. I'm going to come out here, I'm going to add some, I think I might even add a little bit of a wetting agent, and I'll show you that. And then I'm going to add some mycorrhizal fungi spores to it, and I'm going to spray it out here. But now I'm just going to run up and look at the gardens, because I think the girls are coming at 10. I'm going to mix up the rest of this super juice, and I'm going to bump it up a little bit. I'm going to add additional microbes and mycorrhizal fungi spores through a dry mix. I'm going to add a little bit of a wetting agent, especially to that front area. Maybe a little, I guess I'll spray it back here too. But I'm just going to show you, this is a great time to do this kind of thing in the summer heat. When it's dry, you want to capture all that rain you can. You want to try and populate mycorrhizal fungi, which is important. So here we go. So I'm going to give you this formula in the description below. I'm going to link to what I'm doing. Don't forget the lawn guides explain a lot of this. They're free. There's a website for each lawn. Bermuda, Zoysia, and Cool Season. Those are the 3 we've done. 2 million people have used them because we don't ask for anything. We don't want your information. You don't have to sign up. You don't have to download an app. I will, if you haven't done this already, I'll explain this in a second. If you haven't done this already, go over to our website in the description down below, and there's a thing that says email sign up, or maybe I'll find a code you can scan. We have an email system that does not market to you. The email system, when I do a video, I always make an additional post on the website. And then I run a program that every time I do a post, it sends an email out to notify you that this idiot has done a new video. Because YouTube has gotten horrible on their algorithms. They're horrible. So if they don't think that you might be interested in this video, they're not going to show it to you. So sign up for that list. Now, twice a year, usually I'll send out some kind of email. And it usually is important, like it's a big sale or something important. But unlike other email lists that you start to get emails every single day, we don't do that. These are the spray bottles I was talking about that were out of stock. Now, these are the 20-to-1 ratio. Someone sells 30-to-1 ratio, tries to steal business from Anderson's, I guess. They're all competing over spray bottles now since Doc made them famous. But when they come in, they have this annoying little safety tab that you got to push that thing over. So the first thing I do is I go in here and I cut off that safety tab. And that way I can just go ahead and turn them on and off. Now, you do want to, I'll give you a little tip, if you're going to use these bottles, you do want to turn them off before you put it on a hose and lay it down in the yard, because it'll drain out, it'll spill out. So you always want to have them in the off position. But thank God we finally got these in stock. And I will tell you too, each one of these spray bottles has a little bit different personality. So they spray just a little bit different each, just the way it's just manufacturing specs, I guess. So if you find a spray bottle, if you buy 4 of them, they come in a 2-pack, and I think it's $20 including shipping to your house for 2 of them. I order 4 at a time. The other ones got thrown away when we moved, I guess. And I try and find the ones with the best personality. Usually I'll find 3 out of the 4 that have a good personality, maybe have one that doesn't spray in a right ratio, it seems like. And I can tell that if I add dye, I'm not adding dye. So that's just a tip on these. Now, I did put out Dirt Booster. Now, Dirt Booster has mycorrhizal fungi spores, and it has microbe spores, organic matter, biochar, human char. It's perfect for the summer. Put it out every single day if you want. It's summer safe. I've used this. You guys have seen me use this in the past. I'll put a link to it down below. Now, they sell the small packets that you can open up if you're doing a smaller yard, but I usually buy the bigger bag, and I'll put about 1/4 of a cup in this bucket. I'm not trying to, there's no exact measurement on this. I'm going to take my wetting agent and put about 1/4 of a cup. Now, what's funny is the powder was sitting on top of the water until I added this. As soon as I added this, it just went down the bottom. All right. So we don't sell these on Amazon, but you have to have an official Super Juice stirring stick with 2 rusty nails sticking out of it to make it official. When we moved, the tea pitcher I had for years finally cracked, and I haven't ordered another one, so I'm just going to pour some of that 5-gallon bucket into this bucket. Then I'm just going to use a funnel and fill the bottle. Okay, so I know this question is going to come up, so let me do the math for you. That is simple math. One of these bottles, depending on the way that you spray it and how you walk and whatever, I would say would cover 1,500 to 2,000 square feet. Got it? Each bottle is a quart. There are 4 quarts in a gallon. So if I have 10,000 square feet that I want to spray, I'll probably need 5 of these bottles. 10,000 divided by 2,000 is 5. Make an extra one, so let's say 6. So 6 of these quarts. Well, that means 6 quarts. That's 1.5 gallons of water. Got it? That's how you figure this out. So whatever your square, so if you only have 4,000 square feet, you need 2 of these bottles plus 1 is the way I always do it, just to make sure. One thing you'll notice about my spraying method on this lawn right now is I'm actually kind of pointing it, instead of pointing it down and doing a hard path, I'm actually kind of spraying it up and kind of just misting, and I'm able to cover, gosh, almost the whole area with just a bottle and moving quickly. And that's kind of what I want to do. I kind of want to fine mist this on, and then I'm going to get another bottle. I'm going to go back and make sure I do it again, and I'm going to put all 3 bottles on this area, just sort of fine misting it. I'm going to leave it on there for about 2 hours. So if there's any foliar absorption, it'll absorb through the foliar. Not much goes through the foliar, just a little bit. And then I'm going to come out and run my irrigation and drive it down in the ground. Okay, so basically what happens is everywhere in nature this happens. Mycorrhizal fungi spores attach to your roots. They grow out. They reach water. They reach nutrients that your plant can't reach. They bring it back to your plant, and in return, your plant feeds stuff that the fungi wants. It's a good fungus. So basically it returns like sugars to it. Let's just say that. Keep it simple. So that's what we want. Now on the front over there, if you have an area that's just completely barren, raw dirt, it's been sitting there for a year, just nasty dry, you probably don't have a good mycorrhizal fungi colony or a lot of spores, and that's why I'm going in there, I'm inoculating that real heavy. Okay, somewhere like this where we have dirt booster already in here, we've got a lot of good mycorrhizal fungi, but we're entering into a drought zone now. We're hot, end of July, we're starting to dry out. We barely have, the first rain in a week and a half we've had last night was maybe like 1/10 of an inch. It was horrible. I wanted more. Thunderstorms all around me on the radar, but none of the damn things hit my property. So the girls showed up. Christy's back up here. She drug a friend up, and she didn't realize when I said I had a lot of tomatoes how many I had.
Yes,
It's amazing! It's amazing!
And the bell peppers are beautiful.
Yeah, and she said, and she was saying, man, your bell peppers are beautiful. Look at this. So she's just starting. Look at this pile right here. Isn't that crazy? They're absolutely gorgeous. So they've started on tomatoes. This is Christy's bag. Then we have the rotten bucket. I like her. I like her. She curses a lot.
Or I'd be like one of those people that's like, I have too much zucchini.
So then I have about 30 yellow squash that need to go. I have probably about 10 zucchinis of different sizes. They're on the first row of tomatoes, by the way. And then I've come over here. We're pulling the rotten ones, but these I've started to pull, and I've got rotten ones I'm pulling here that are hidden underneath. And then we still have everything going. So if you didn't see my update on the new area, I actually am planting sweet potatoes over on this one place. And now I've got sweet potato slips that are growing in here, but they actually just stuck them in, made some holes, soaking them good, and look at them, they're actually going. That one's not doing well. I'll replace that. We're talking about giving up wine, drinking hard liquor, and now she switched from wine to beer. Such great conversations up in the garden. So what we're doing is I have them pulling the rotten tomatoes, put them in buckets, because we haven't been able to take care of this. The good witch has been off. The storm came through. So they're coming in here taking good tomatoes. Okay, so what happens when you have a storm and you got to spend the whole week cleaning up trees on your property? You can't get into the garden for a week and a half. So you tell the girls to come up and you say, take as much as you want. All right. That's got to be, what, 10, 15 pounds each one of these? Yeah. And then that one's got to be probably 20, 25 pounds. You got squash.
Peppers.
These 3 buckets are all rotten tomatoes. All rotten tomatoes. And then you got zucchinis, you got squash. And that's what they just did this morning.
Tomatoes, you said. You want some tomatoes?
And thank God the sun's not out.
I know.
This is the first day that the sun's not out, even though we're already soaking wet. Oh man. So, normal up at 5 a.m., start working. The girls came over about 10, and it was nice and cloudy. So I'm gonna come over here and cut the pond front, and of course the sun comes out. So it's my second change of clothes already. So I am cutting this. Someone said, you need to cut that with a reel mower. Really, dude? If you want to bring your reel mower over here and cut this, go right ahead, but I ain't replacing your blade. So we still have a lot of sticks. We still have rocks. We're going through here little by little, but we still have this kind of crap in here. There's all kinds of crap all in here still. We need to do final cleanup. Like I said yesterday, there were a whole bunch of old cedar stumps in here. Well, let me tell you what. If you've ever tried to take cedar stumps out, even small ones, they harden up like a rock. I went through 2 chainsaw blades cutting these things out yesterday. God, it was horrible. So we have 1 down there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We took out 6, and I'll come back and we fill them in with dirt, and I'll come back and reseed those. But that was the only thing that really was kind of keeping me from cutting lower, because I wanted to cut this lower. So I sprayed super juice with the mycorrhizal fungi, with the wetting agent. I've sprayed this 3 times, so 3 bottles out here. Just spray it, let it sit, spray it, let it sit. It's been out here for a couple hours. That's all it's going to do. So I'm going to cut it, but I'm going to mulch it, leave it here, and then I'm going to water it. So here we go. So it's probably about 1:30. I'm ready for my 3rd change of clothes. But I wanted to get this cut so I could water it. And I got to tell you, man, I don't know how it looks in the bright sunlight, but I'll tell you what. For newly planted Bermuda, that is looking really good. I mean, I'm not going to complain. That looks really nice. The crabgrass is dying in here, but the goosegrass is not, obviously. So I've ordered something to spray on for goosegrass now. But I wanted to be able to cut this shorter, so we took out those root stumps in here, and I was able to cut it. I only ran into a couple little but that's where I want to be. So I've sprayed it. Now I'm going to turn on my irrigation, and I'm going to start watering it in, and man, this is going to look really nice when it's done. So the babies hide over in that thicket, and they just sort of watch me garden. It's the coolest thing, man. So this has been really a year of experimentation with our garden, and that's all we're doing. We're just experimenting. We're just trying different things in here to see what works. You know, what's too much produce. You know, I don't need 3 rows of tomatoes. But this right here, I've played with this, and it's just been too hot and dry. So we tilled this, and we put dirt booster into it, and then we mounded it, and I'm planting sweet potatoes in here. Is it a good idea to plant sweet potatoes at the end of July? Probably not, but these are called sweet potato slips. And so they're just rooted little strips of sweet potatoes, and they look like they're dead, but they actually survive. You plant them in here, we make a hole, and we put lots of water in it, and they'll actually grow. You can actually keep them in water and let them root more if you want, but I'm planting them straight in here. And then every day what I'm doing is I'm just coming up and giving a little water. Now, today what I did is I had a couple extra bottles of that mix of that super juice and the mycorrhizal fungi and the wetting agent, and I came in here and I just hit these pepper plants and tomato plants, just because this soil was the first year it's actually been worked, and the infiltration rates were just really bad. Now we plant clover in here because clover is nitrogen fixing. So we don't, on this whole property, 40 acres, there isn't a single spot that has bare dirt on it. Whether it's planted for the deer and for the turkey, that whole field over there is covered in clover and brassica, or in between our rows we keep it solid clover and ryegrass. Now there is a little bit of confusion on nitrogen fixing. Clover doesn't have nitrogen, okay? Clover has zits on its roots. What do I mean by that? It has little white nodules on its roots, and those nodules actually contain a bacteria that will actually convert the nitrogen into a form that the plants can use. Got it? And so basically when you cut your clover and you have some of your clover die off, that bacteria gets released, and it actually facilitates the evolution, the nitrogen cycle where the plants can actually use it. That's why we cover everything with clover. And when the sun hits this, Jessie was saying that this is one of the first gardens she can actually come up and work in, and it doesn't feel like there's radiant heat. So the sun is hitting that clover and not hitting dirt and causing that radiant heat. And so it shades the soil, it's cover. So that's why we have clover all over here. A lot of people ask that. So I think it's really important to understand a few certain things, like what is nitrogen fixing? What is a nitrogen cycle? I've done a video on that. I put that up. That's on our channel. Mycorrhizal fungi. What role does it play? Why is it so important? Why was I so insistent? Anderson's was kind of resistant to go forward with that because it took a lot of work to actually make Dirt Booster Plus. Dirt Booster Plus actually has it inside of it. So that's why it plays such an important role. It's a symbiotic relationship that exists everywhere. And if you can expand on that, and if you can add into it, man, you're just doing great. Now the question will come up, it always does, Doc, what if I've put down fungicide? Is it going to impact? And the answer is yes. Fungicides will impact any colonization of fungus, but it will not completely kill it. That's the problem with fungicides, is they will limit their growth, but they won't kill it. So if you have a fungicide down on your lawn, just put down more mycorrhizal fungi spores. They're good spores. They protect your roots. So even if you have a fungicide down, you can come back and you can pound down mycorrhizal fungi and actually put down good fungus to battle the bad fungus and bad things that are going on. So anyways, I'm not going to record this, but I thought today was just kind of a learning experience. It's a Saturday. It's hot as hell out here, guys. I mean, it's 4:30. I've been going since 5 a.m. this morning, and I'm getting ready to call it after I do this, I think. So I'm over here planting the sweet potatoes. I'm going to turn the camera around. If you want to watch the babies for a while, watch the babies. Pee-pee.